Let's dive into a pretty mind-bending story of scientific discovery. It's all about a fundamental part of being human that, believe it or not, we didn't even have a name for until very recently. It's all about the pictures we see, or in some cases, don't see, inside our own heads. Go ahead. Seriously, try it right now. Close your eyes. Can you actually see it? The blazing orange and red colors, the sun just sinking below the horizon. Can you conjure up that image? For most people, this ability to just create a picture in our imagination feels completely second nature. That's our mind's eye at work. And we use it for everything, right? Remembering a friend's face, daydreaming about a vacation. It's a huge part of how we experience our own lives and memories. Now, imagine trying to picture that same sunset, but all you get is nothing. Just darkness. Not a bad picture, not a fuzzy one, literally no image at all. You have the idea of a sunset, but no picture. Well, this isn't just a thought experiment. For some people, this is reality. So how did science even figure this out? Well, the story here is almost as incredible as the condition itself. It wasn't some big, planned research project. It was basically an accidental discovery that was sparked by one single, very unusual medical case. Okay, so it all kicks off in 2010. Researchers are writing about this guy who, after a minor heart procedure, completely lost his mind's eye. A science magazine picks up the story, and then something amazing happens. The researchers' inboxes just get flooded. Dozens of people writing in, all saying the exact same thing. Hey, this isn't some new condition, that's just how my brain has always worked. They'd been living their entire lives like this, most of them just assuming everyone else did too. You can imagine, this just blew the doors wide open. This wave of emails created a whole new field of study. For the very first time, scientists could actually investigate a group of people who seemed to have been born without a mind's eye. And it started with this number, 21. 21 people who came forward and agreed to be part of the first formal study on this. They gave us the first real peek into what a life without mental pictures is actually like. So you might be wondering, how do you even measure something as personal as imagination? Well, researchers have a clever tool for that called the VVIQ. It basically asks you to imagine different things, like a friend's face or a sunrise, and then you rate how vivid that image is. It's a way to try and put a number on the power of your mind's eye. And this graph, wow, this just shows it all. The chart on the bottom is the control group. You see a nice normal bell curve, a typical range of imagery. But then look at the top graph. That's the 21 participants. The difference is just staggering. All of their scores are slammed against the absolute lowest end of the scale. This wasn't just weak imagery. For them, it was completely absent. Now, here is where it gets really fascinating, a super weird paradox. While these people could not voluntarily call up an image, they couldn't decide to see a sunset, many of them still had involuntary images, like sudden flashes of a memory or really vivid dreams. This was a huge clue. It meant their brains could make images. They just couldn't do it on command. So how do you do something that seems to require visualization, like counting the windows in your own house? This quote from the study is so revealing. Instead of seeing their house in their mind, they rely on abstract facts, conceptual knowledge, spatial memory. They describe it as using subvisual models. They know the layout without ever seeing it. And living this way has some really interesting effects. Most people don't even realize they're different until they're teenagers or young adults, usually when a conversation makes them realize other people are having a literal visual experience. A big one is memory. A majority said it was hard to relive past events because there were no pictures to go with the memory. But what's really cool is that many also said they had strengths in other areas, like in verbal, mathematical, or logical thinking, like their brains compensated. And interestingly, that first group was almost all male, and a few of them even had relatives with the same thing, which is a big hint that there might be a genetic link. So at this point, the phenomenon was clearly real, it was documented, it just needed one more thing to make it official. It needed a name. And the term the researchers came up with was aphantasia. It's pulled right from ancient Greek, a, which means without, and phantasia, which was Aristotle's word for the imagination, or that power to summon an image. So aphantasia literally means without imagination. Though, as we're seeing, it's a lot more complex than that. So discovering aphantasia really wasn't the end of the story. If anything, it was just the beginning. It opened up this whole new world of questions about how the human mind can work. And this leads us to the huge question that people are debating right now. Is aphantasia a disorder, something to be fixed, or is it just a different, totally valid way of experiencing the world, a variation in human consciousness, kind of like how we think about synesthesia? This table really helps put it all in context. So you have people with synesthesia, who often have crazy high vivid imagery scores. Then way on the other end of the spectrum, you have aphantasia, and next to it, prosopagnosia, the difficulty recognizing faces, which also seems to be linked to low scores. It suggests our ability to visualize isn't an on or off switch. It's a vast and pretty fascinating spectrum. And honestly, this discovery has left us with a goldmine of new questions to explore. I mean, how many people actually have aphantasia? The first guesses are around 2% of us. Is it inherited? What is physically different in the brain? And can we really get to the bottom of its deep connection to how we remember our own lives? There's so much to learn. The story of aphantasia is just incredible proof that even the things we assume are universal about the human mind might not be. It makes you stop and think, right? If something as basic as the mind's eye could hide in plain sight for all of human history, what else is out there about our inner worlds, just waiting for someone to ask the right question?